Hey, what's up guys? So I'm going to do a video because this is a requested video actually that I've been asked to make multiple times. So the topic of the video is how am I transitioning from my bodybuilding prep into an off season. A few things that go into obviously transitioning over, how I'm dealing with it, my thoughts behind obviously going from being shredded to pretty not shredded in like a certain amount of time, how I'm dealing with it, etc., etc. So I'm going to go over this now. It's a really difficult phase. First off, let me just go into that. Like I've seen already loads of competitors struggling, and I knew that I would actually. So it was the BNBF finals. I think it was like 2 weeks ago. It was the UK DFBA finals last weekend, and already I'm seeing posts on Instagram saying like the stuff like they're kind of finding it really difficult to deal with, and I can completely relate. Like I knew it. I know exactly what they're saying. The phase is quite frankly really miserable. I'm not gonna lie. So if you're wanting to do a bodybuilding prep, one thing I would say is be prepared for the phase after the bodybuilding prep, because in my opinion, being in that situation, it's harder to adhere to that phase than it is to just diet. Like dieting's for me, it's just easy. I can adhere to a diet 365 days a year if I had to. I can, like, when I've got a goal, I can just adhere to it and it's no problem. But when you're coming out of a prep, so a few things that I would really look to take into consideration and take with me from my bodybuilding prep, my dieting phase to my off season. So structure. Firstly, whatever you do when you finish in your prep, in my opinion, I wouldn't gain all the weight straight away. Okay, so what you want to do, guys, is you want to think about like the prep is baseline weight, right? So when you get back up to your peak off season weight, when you've finished your prep, you want to be in a position where you're more muscular and you have less body fat than you did prior to starting your bodybuilding prep, so last off season. So for example, for me, I started my last prep at, well, it wasn't really a prep, but I started the diet at around 190 pounds, which was peak off season, peak body fat. Appetite was pretty fucked up. I had no appetite at the time. So I started there, and the next time I get back to that body weight, which, holy shit, that's not going to be for a long time. I don't want to be 190 pounds. I don't think I have any business being 190 pounds. Really, I think I'll just be too fat, so there's no point in doing that. But if I ever get back up to 190, that's a scary number. And when I get back up to that, I want to be way bigger, way more muscular, way stronger, and way leaner than I was last time. So in order to achieve that, you simply cannot go from a bodybuilding prep to an off season and gain 25 pounds in 2 days. Like, and the scary reality of that, guys, is I see it all the time, and it's at no like discredit to the individuals doing so, because it's hard when you've gone from being so religious with your dieting and you've had that end goal of the stage for so long, and then all of a sudden you come out of that and you get to the end of the day and you're hungry, and you're like, well, why am I hungry? Why should I be hungry? Yeah, you should really. I mean, you're pretty normal to be hungry at the end of the day. When you finish dieting, your hormones are not going to be firing as they should. You know, your hunger hormones are just going to be all out of whack. Your brain is just not going to be firing. Like, well, when you diet down to extremely low levels of body fat, you take away a lot of fat from your brain as well. Did you know that? Like, fuckload of fat. It's weird. All of this stuff I've learned about. It's very, very, very interesting. But your brain is starved pretty much at the end of the prep. As is everything else. Like, your testosterone levels dropped, which means your mood's going to be awful. That's why towards the end of the prep, you're like walking around like this, like a zombie, because quite frankly, if you actually get lean, you are doing that, because I was doing that a lot. I got to a point where I was just like I just didn't want to talk to anyone. It was really tough, you know. I didn't want to talk to anyone. I just wanted to if anything came out of my routine of the day, I'd just get stressed. So that was quite a stressful phase coming out of that. But going back to finishing prep. So when you finish prep, you want to go from I would say in 10 weeks' time, gain £10, which would be perfect. Pretty much I've gained, so this Saturday it's 10 weeks post-show. I've gained about 10, 11, 11 and a half, 11.6 pounds, 11.8, depending on the day, sometimes 12, depending on what time I eat my meal, depending on what time I weigh in, etc. Which, going from stage condition to just normal is fine. That's pretty, in my opinion, pretty bang on in regards to weight gain. But I haven't added that in 1 week, right? And what that's going to do, it's going to allow me to extend my off-season phase. So with an extended off-season phase, I'm going to be in a calorie surplus for a longer period of time, right? Rather than having to diet again in a week, 2 weeks, because I've already maxed out my off-season. So think about off-season as starting at baseline and just taking your time to gradually go up and up and up. And in that period of going up, you want to really make sure that you're maximising everything you're doing in the gym. So you're training as hard as you can, and you're progressing your logbook. You're controlling every variable that's outside of the gym. So meal timing, water, sleep, stress, all of this kind of good stuff. And if you can just prolong that period and steadily creep up over the months, not get too fat. Obviously, you're going to gain body fat. It's going to happen. You're going to look worse. That's just it. But if you can really extend that phase, so I personally, for me now, I finished my season on, I've got the date there. So last season for the 25th of August. No, 18th of August. I finished my last show. So that's also August. So September, October, November, December. So on the 18th of December, I'd be 4 months post show. So I would like to see myself being able to stay in a calorie surplus until at least February, March, maybe even April, maybe even May, maybe even June. To be honest, I don't want to diet. So the longer you can kind of drag out the post-show period in regards to pushing body weight up slowly, is going to be very, 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 very more advantageous for you in the long run. Because quite frankly, guys, if you gain 30, 40 pounds in a month, 2 months, your off season is over, you are going to have to diet. And oh my God, you are not going to be in a good place mentally. Physically, you're going to be still fucked up as well. So don't do that. Just transition from the off season, from a prep, in that cyclical manner if you can. Go into this phase and accept that it's going to be hard and you're going to feel like shit. That's it. And another few things are, I want to really hammer home, is no matter how good your reverse diet is, no matter how good your recovery diet is, no matter how optimal your approach is post-show, the weight you gain back post-show will make you look awful in photos compared to how you did look on the way down. Why? I do not know. I have no idea why. I've asked loads of people why and what that could be, and why the weight that goes back on makes you look worse than when you on the way down. I have no idea why, to be honest. It confuses me to this day, because right now I'm 160 pounds. So on the way down, 160, I look pretty good. I got photos on my phone when I was 160 pounds, and I don't look anything like I look now. Right now I look awful compared to how I looked on the way down, which is strange. But if I look at my training, my training, my leg movements are peak strength, maxed. My execution on my lifts is incredible. I'm talking from my lower body perspective. My execution is the best it's ever been. I've never done 140 kilo back squats, 4 sets of 6 with the range of motion and the control that I'm doing now. I've never done a 6-plate hat for 6 and a 4.5 plate for 25. I've never done that. I've never stiff-legged deadlift the 72.5 kilo dumbbells with the range of motion and the contractions that I'm getting and doing now, ever, even when I was peak off season last time. So instead of looking at yourself post-show, look at your training, look at your logbook, and use that as your feedback tool, because you're not going to look good. Even I've tried taking photos when I'm post-workout, and no matter, even if I'm pumped, I still don't look good. And I look at the photo immediately and I think, right, this is awful, I'm just going to delete this. And I do delete the photo and I don't look at it again, and I make it I haven't taken it. So my advice would be, don't look at yourself post-show for a long period of time. I don't plan on taking any photos really until I've got 5 months of hard training under my belt. And yeah, I think then with the strength increase, because obviously I'm getting a lot stronger, so I am going to be building tissue because I'm causing adaptation via progressive overload. Like you just are, as long as you're eating adequately, which I am. It's just a fact. Like you are going to grow. So instead of looking at your physique, look at your logbook. Chase that instead of chasing the physique, because chasing the physique is gone post show. You're not going to be able to chase physique. Don't try as well. If you do have a fuck up, so you go out and you gain X, Y, and Z amount of weight, just get back on track the next day. Don't diet, because if you diet, it's another simple factor of you're going to look even worse. Why? Because you're going to look flat and fat, which is probably the worst combo. So you'd rather look fatter and fuller, right, than fatter and flat, because that is not a good look. You'll look even softer. So if you fuck up and you overeat, I can quite like hold my hands up and say I haven't actually had a binge episode, which is haven't really wanted to, because even on show days where I was actually eating a lot of food to try and, just because on those days you burn through calories like no tomorrow, you know, you actually don't feel that great the next day, just in your stomach. Like I find that your digestion's just going to go to shit for like 3 days, and it's not worth it. So I, like, quite frankly haven't, but I will, like, going into this off season further, I will definitely implement more sort of meals out, post sessions and stuff like that, because why not? Like, there's no reason why I can't do that. So I will do that. So I've gone over the physique. I've gone over obviously gaining body weight nice and slow. Mindset in this period is just get the phase done. Get the phase done and get out of the phase. So I think a post-show period will last, depends how long the diet was. For me, I dieted for a long time, but weirdly I've actually recovered pretty well after it. I don't feel too bad. No. I feel perfectly fine right now. I don't feel I don't feel like I've dieted. I feel back to normal in regards to myself. Do I feel hungry? Not really, to be honest. I'm fine. I eat to fuel my sessions. I look at my food more now as fuel for my training. Am I like irritable anymore? No, not really. No, not more than I am usually. No, I'm fine now. Testosterone levels, yeah, definitely getting there for sure. I can just tell just from how, like, my main thing is how I can build up aggression in the gym, because when I was dieting towards the end, I just couldn't do it. I just didn't have the energy to do it. But now I'm like, I can get going. Like certain music, certain songs, specific music gets me going again like I didn't before, which is good. So I think transitioning from a prep to an off-season phase is one of the hardest phases, like I've said. I could talk about this for ages, literally for ages. So if you've listened to this, thank you. I'll try and get these out more often if people like them. I like talking about the phases, because I think people don't talk about them enough, because they're ashamed. They're afraid of people thinking like, oh, we struggled in this phase. I have really struggled, openly struggled in this phase. I've struggled massively with post-show, with gaining body fat. Like, it was, honestly, I've had like really bad period, which I don't always share on social media, because what's the point? But I'll talk about it now, looking back. I have really struggled with it. Gaining body fat back has been really tough, because I've spent the whole year being lean, the whole year looking at myself, and normal to me in my eyes it has been waking up every day, looking in that mirror and posing and thinking, fuck me, you're shredded, and then turning to like my striated quads and turning to the side, hitting a side chest and my glutes are just fibering, turning to the rear, I can see my glutes, like my hamstrings are peeled, and that's been normal for me every day for the last at least 4 months. Every day I got up and I stood here in this mirror and I posed. And I looked at myself closer to the stage, especially towards the UK DFB qualifier, and I was like, you know what, you are fucking shredded here. And I knew I was, and I know I am, so I know I'm not I am anymore. But that was the norm, so transitioning from that to now is really tough for sure. But if you want to improve as an athlete when it comes to bodybuilding, or just improve your physique, gain muscle, gain strength, you've got to come to terms with gaining body fat. It's not easy, but you know, you've got to do it. It's just one of those things that just has to be done. So I've covered enough. It's like a 15-minute video, so maybe watch this while you're cooking your your oats and oatmeal. Oh, let me go over my macros as well. I've had people kind of comment on my macros and saying that I'm not having those macros, which is kind of funny. I don't know. Firstly, I don't know why people care what my macros are, and say like I'm not eating that amount, because you don't know what I'm eating. How can you comment? But I just find it quite funny. You've not got anything else to worry about in your life other than that. But that's quite amusing. Anyway, so my macros at the moment, depending on how I'm feeling, I kind of auto-regulate it and see and depending on how I feel in regards to carbohydrate intake. On leg days, my carbohydrate intake is just stupid high. So I do 800 grams on leg days. But so my normal days are anywhere from 700, 750 carbohydrate, 225 to 235 protein, and anywhere from 50 to 60 grams of fat. So it's quite a low fat intake, but I quite frankly just prefer a higher carbohydrate approach. I've done the whole high fat days. I can't tell you I feel great. To be honest, I prefer carbs, so that's my current setup. And my training split, just an update on me as well, I'm here for a minute. My training split is currently Monday pull, Tuesday legs, Wednesday push. Then I'll contemplate a day off. If I'm good, I'll go in again and I'll train pull. So today I'm training again. Friday's legs and then Saturday's upper body. And then just rest on Sunday and go again. But if I need a rest day on the Thursday, I'll take it. So far I don't. But I can definitely see myself in this phase having to deload more frequently, because after sessions I'm way more smashed up, because obviously I'm progressively overloading the gym, and you're not doing that during dieting or just maintaining. That's why you can probably go like 12, 13, 14 weeks without deloading during diet, because volumes and intensity should remain static. Obviously when you're trying to chase specific loads and chase the logbook, you are going to have to increase the intensity and progressively overload, which is going to bring about greater levels of fatigue quicker. But that's pretty much an update from me, and transitioning from prep to post show and how you can potentially deal with it. Let me know if you guys have any questions. If you want me to do more of these videos, I'm happy to do them, sort of maybe a couple a week. Any topics you guys want me to talk about, and yeah, we'll go from there. But yeah, any questions guys, please ask, and yeah, we'll chat soon. Just let's maybe get a thumbnail here, so let's do a